all things calendar. Now, calendar, of course, it helps us. It lets us know where we have to be. It lets us know when things are due. It lets us know when our colleagues are available for common planning assessment. And the more we use it, the more we come to the realization it's very, very useful. And once we're all bought in and invested, it becomes quite necessary. So we're going to go over some stuff. Once again, the table of contents on this video and the individual chapters itemized in our Tech Bytes newsletter. Click through those. Some of the stuff could be old hat to you, and some of the other things you might want a refresher, or they could be completely new. Now, long list. The first thing we look at is like what literally is your calendar versus what you see. Right? And how can you declutter this and make things a little bit clearer for you to find out exactly what you have to see and maybe what others are seeing when they look at your personal calendar. Now, you'll see you have two different sections over here, right? You got My Calendars, which means the first one is the default calendar, which is attached to your school Gmail, right? Everything below this is a calendar that you either created, came up with a title and hit create, or you got it automatically by joining a Google Classroom, either as a teacher that you made, a co-teacher, or even a student. Right? Other calendars are things that you subscribe to. Now, they show up in there because you have some sort of little linkage and syncing with a published iCal. No one else can see this. So this is important. There could be things on this whole view within my entire calendar interface that I need to do and places I need to be. But my colleagues can only see this right here. So I'm going to show you how I can get this. I'm going to display only my personal calendar. So I might have to be at some stuff over here which shows up on a calendar I subscribe to. Could be secondary, could be school-wide. But as far as my colleagues know, in terms of my availability to meet and co-plan and co-assess or what have you, are these times right here. So I'm going to de-tick, or I should say re-tick, my other calendars that I generally have habitually ticked. So I got my school-wide, secondary, very important, not sure how that got on there, phases of the moon, everybody likes that one. Good. Now, let's say that this prevention parent workshop is something that I know I'm going to, but guess what? No one else knows, because this green business corresponds with secondary, and of course the blue business corresponds with my calendar. I want to let people know that I'm not going to be available for this. I could click new event on my calendar and put the exact same time, so I can just click on this, go to my three dots right here. I'm going to copy it to my personal calendar and hit save. And now it'll come up in two places. The green, which is the original secondary calendar down here. And now it's also in my personal calendar, which is this blue stuff. So important that we make sure that what our colleagues are looking at is what we know to be our most up-to-date and available times in terms of our calendars and when we can meet. Good. So how can we declutter this? So some of these Google Classroom calendars you don't need, right? All they really do is show dates and times of assignments that have a physical due date. And if you're the teacher, you probably already know this anyhow, or you're looking at it more logically in the assignment section or in your stream and these sorts of things in your Google Classroom. So if you want to get rid of them, you can get rid of them. It's not a problem. And you can just hide them as well, right? You can hide them from the list. They're there if you need to search. You can also just X them out and then they'll go away forever, right? Equally, like I showed you before, let's just say you don't want to look at all of these calendars simultaneously. I just want to look at the school-wide, and I go to display this only, and it'll only show events attributed to this school-wide calendar. Now, subscribing versus owning versus my calendar, we touched on this a little bit. All of these things I own, I can edit, I can establish permissions and who can see them. These things down here I subscribe to. Just for fun, there are other things I can subscribe to. As long as I have some sort of iCal link, I can put it in there. And I'll show you how that works in a second. I don't have the iCal on me, but it's plus subscribe to calendar. And you just paste in there, and there you go. And I think I probably should have done that with from URL. Sorry, there it goes. That's going to give us our iCal. And like I said, there's some other things you can subscribe to if you're really, really into sports. Resources, rooms, it's all there. View, who can see this? By default at our school, when people look at your calendar, all they see is busy or free. And if you're not sure what they can see, you can click on the three dots over here and go to Settings and Sharing. Without a doubt, we want people to see that when we're available. It's one of the primary functions of this calendar. Mine is currently set to See Only Free Busy. You could put this, which isn't a bad thing, depending on who you're working with and these sorts of things. But you can do a combination of both. Let's say you have a colleague and you two are just in cahoots and everything, and they really need to see what it is you're working on, not just free busy. So I can go to this for everybody within our school domain. But then I can go ahead and add my colleague down here. I'll add Carolina. She can see all event details, and she's the only one. So she can't edit stuff, and she can't add stuff and make me go places. Thank you, Carolina. But if she knows that I'm busy at 8:15 on a Thursday, but maybe that's the reason why I'm busy is because we have something that we're both going to be looking at, it might be important for her to see the details of this stuff, correct? Good. Now, reminders. This was a good one. If I go to my main calendar under Settings and Sharing, I can scroll down, and right around here in the middle, I get Event Notifications. Now I have two. I want an email to pop up 9 minutes before, which generally makes some noise in my inbox as well. But I also want this notification. This notification will be a little noise. It makes a little chime on my computer, but it also makes a chime in the app on my phone. So it does buzz. If I'm not in front of my computer because I'm out doing some duty for the kids or I'm having a chat at the printer, what have you, this one's quite useful because I have my phone on me. It'll indicate I have something in 12 minutes. Okay? You get used to this buzz too because 12 minutes, 12 minutes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to one of these, it's probably the last bullet point. It's like, why is it beneficial to have additional calendars? Now, I have one that I subscribe to. I've made it with a personal account. Now, it's called Big Cal. This Big Cal has dates on it for things which are important, like, birthdays, teacher certification renewals, passport renewals, and these sorts of things. When I go into this, and I'm hoping it'll show it to me because I'm pretty sure I can edit. Oh, I can't edit because it's a different account. That's fine. But what I'm going to show you real quick is I have one which is just for this big stuff. And with these notifications, I have them for like 3 months, 6 weeks, 2 weeks. Some of these big things are like I need to have documentation done, things sent off, things notarized, these sorts of things. Larger, big picture things that don't come up every year, every month, maybe once every 5 months, I put into this calendar. And that's when your notifications become very important because it'll let you know 3 months ahead of time, 4 months ahead of time. And that's the default for all of those events, right? So it's not attributed to my school calendar. I made it with my personal calendar. But because I'm looking at this thing 24/7 because of work, I like for it to show up on here. Last bullet point. We jumped ahead. We're getting ahead here. Can't find something. Sometimes you can't find something. And this is probably important for like things you subscribe to or when people send you invites and these sorts of things. Click on your little loop or your little magnifying glass at the top. And if you put anything, microbats, there you go. So there's a gajillion of these. And if I'm looking for, I'm going back to Carolina again. Carolina. There we go. So these are all events that her and I are attached to, and these sorts of things. We're advisory homeroom buddies. So very important, obviously, for finding things that you might have been invited to and didn't know about, these sorts of things. Sometimes you get invitations. Sorry, Victor. I'm going to break the paradigm of time and space. we had that meeting. So sometimes you get invites and they don't pop up. For example, they don't pop up in your inbox. Picking on Caro today because she's just going to pop up. Now I might not send her an invite for this. Do not send. And what it means is I just don't want to clutter her inbox. So what happens is you might not get it in your inbox, but it is in your calendar, and you might not know about it. So this search feature is quite nice to find out when that upcoming event was, or maybe an event that you kind of didn't hit, these sorts of things. Good. Well, this is the last one. That's my big stuff calendar, and the schedules and timetables is quite useful. Now, if I look at my calendar like this, it makes sense. And I know what's going on. I know when things are. But sometimes I need to look at, okay, I have to meet with somebody else. I need to create an event, especially with kids, because their calendars aren't always so up to date with this, because they're mostly looking at Veracross and Manage Back. I have down here an uploaded schedule called secondary schedule, and all it is a blank template of the timetable of our secondary Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and our offbeat Wednesday schedule. And it just superimposes because it's underneath. And now I can see where all these individual blocks are, these sorts of things. They're not in any kind of specific rotation, but the times are accurate. So if I know I'm going to block out a time which fits perfectly into between this block 2 and advisory, I can just click on this. I'm going to copy it to mine. I'm going to be careful with this. Make sure the date's correct. It's probably not. And I can do whatever I need to, or just physically change this to 05 April, that kind of thing. Doesn't repeat. I can call it whatever I need to. And now it's going to pop up in a random place, which is not April 5th. There it is, April 5th. And I can drag it over here because I want it for today. You won't do that. Let's put it on Thursday. I can't reschedule this. That's all I got. Hope that's helpful. As always, if you want to sit and look at this, if you're having some complications with your calendar, if you want to maximize your calendar, there's lots of little hacks and tips and tricks we didn't go into today. Be happy to meet with you, any one of us in your digital learning team. Just book some time with us, and we'll make it happen.